Joining me tonight from Washington to discuss the president's immigration push, two members of Congress with very different views. Representative Luis Gutierrez is an advocate for immigration reform that includes a path to citizenship for immigrants living in the country. And Representative Ed Royce is a proponent of strong enforcement and a safe and secure border. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. Let me begin by putting up on the screen so folks can see what the president actually proposed today. A couple quick points. One, he said secure the borders, enforce the law. And he has been doing that with more arrests, more folks on the border, National Guard and others, to ensure that there are fewer folks crossing the border illegally. Second, target employers who hire illegals. Again, more prosecutions there than in the past. Third, pass the DREAM Act, which creates a road to citizenship for kids who were brought in illegally by their parents, but the kids who are now in college or in the armed forces would be given a pass to citizenship, something that the president believes in and almost passed Congress last year. And finally, for current illegal immigrants, pay the taxes, pay a fee, learn English, and then get to the back of the line for legal immigration. Congressman Royce, since you're an opponent of what the president has been saying what in that list of proposals do you disagree with?
Well, here's the difficulty. The proposals that you laid out were basically the arrangement the last time that we did an amnesty in the United States Congress. We did an amnesty, and the consequences of it was that it wasn't followed up with the enforcement, and once we did the amnesty, there was a great deal of abuse of that because the cartels control the process of the phony documentation. So a lot of people come in and take advantage of it. To do it right now, when unemployment is so high in the United States, would really be a disservice to working Americans.
Congressman, I understand obviously this issue gets all the more tender when unemployment is as high and as devastating as it is right now. But you said these were in fact the terms of the bill that was passed, the immigration reform bill several years ago, many years ago now.
Much of those terms.
But let me ask you this. Would you agree that President Obama has been tougher even than President Bush, and I don't say this to be critical of President Bush, tougher even than President Bush on the enforcement along the border with more National Guards, building the wall, and bringing the prosecutions that everybody has called for? Would you agree that he has done that?
In some ways, yes. Border Patrol agents, yes. National Guard, that's been pulled down some. Worksite enforcement is down 70%, so that's somewhat selective. But has it been effective? No, says the Government Accountability Office, who say we only have 15% actual control, 44% operational control on the border. I was just down there to 3 border states. The Border Patrol tell me that the problem is that the cartels have operational control in many sectors.
Okay, that's something I'd love to pursue. We'll get back to that in a moment. Congressman Gutierrez, let me ask you this. You have been very critical of President Obama for not doing enough to get the DREAM Act through Congress and to use his administrative powers to ease up on the deportations. Does this speech give you comfort such that you will now be fully supportive of what the president is trying to do?
Sure. I'm happy the president gave the speech today. But as you've just heard from Congressman Royce and Eric Cantor, the majority leader, basically declared any movement on comprehensive immigration reform dead. You saw that the very governor, Republican Governor Perry, won't even welcome the president of the United States to the state of Texas. So I think you saw how cold and reactionary the Republican Party is. We've already, if the president's move today was to show immigrant voters, Latino voters, that there is no welcome mat out for our community, then he accomplished his feat. But I think more important, Eliot, is the following. Look, the president has broad discretionary powers. We're going to graduate 65,000 young men and women who came here at a young and tender age. They're going to graduate. Some of them are class valedictorians. And you know what? They've been admitted to Harvard and Yale and to fine prestigious universities. We've got soldiers being sent to Afghanistan, to Iraq, proudly going to defend, and they've got their wives with orders of deportation.
Congressman?
And so what I'm saying is, why doesn't the president use his discretionary powers so that we can bring some relief and some fairness and justice in terms of the application of our laws?
Well, that's the question I have for you, Congressman. Are you going to keep the president's feet to the fire? And is there a particular benchmark that you have set to say to the president, unless you cut back on the deportations, unless you somehow take this specific step, I, Congressman Gutierrez, a powerful voice in the immigrant community, a powerful voice in the Latino community, am going to withhold my support next year in the presidential race, something you've threatened to do in the past. What is the benchmark you will use to determine whether the president is living up to his pledge to you?
Look, Eliot, the president of the United States met with us last Tuesday. He agreed to consider several administrative relief measures that he can take. So he has admitted that he has that discretionary power. The decision is going to be made on the basis of the following. How broad and how generous is the president going to be in his execution of his discretion? That is yet to be seen. I am very, very hopeful, given that meeting, that he can say, you know, American citizen children, maybe we shouldn't be knocking on the doors of homes early in the morning and snatching those children from the arms of their mothers. I think there is a sense of fairness and justice, and the president today began a campaign, and I hope he executes it.
Let me get back to Congressman Royce here. Now, Congressman Royce, what if the president does ease off using his administrative powers, as Congressman Gutierrez wants him to do? How will you and the Republican leadership react? And second, we don't have much time left, the DREAM Act. A lot of people say it is basic decency, fairness. Kids were brought in at the tender age of 6 months or a year. They did nothing wrong. Could you agree that they, if they are in college, in the military, they should be given a path to citizenship? Is that a point of common purpose here?
Well, certainly in the military, and frankly, I think there is an area to come into an agreement here, and I think a lot of it has to do with the question of this E-Verify program. If that were made mandatory, because our concern right now, what it means is that employers would have to check basically with the government and could only hire somebody who was basically here legally in the United States. If that were done, you see, then a lot of our concerns would be taken care of. But as I've shared with you, I mean, the real polling shows that there are 1 billion people in the world who would like to come to the United States. We've got 7 million Americans just trying to find jobs, as I said, in manufacturing and services that can't find those jobs right now. So from a practical standpoint, we've got to get this solved. And our friends on the other side of the aisle, you know, it's always been give us an amnesty. We did that in the 80s. We never got the
but we're not,
control.
we're not asking
guys, I hate to do this. Time is up. This is not going to be resolved tonight. Unfortunately, all I can say is we will have you back. Fascinating conversation, important for the future of our economy. And as the president said, this is what our nation is all about. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, we are all immigrants in this nation. All right, Congressman Gutierrez, Congressman Royce, thank you so much for being here tonight. Up next, if killing bin Laden didn't